Hi, it's Enrica again. I wanted to go over day 2 of my surgery. So, as I was saying, the first day of surgery really was quite a blur. There were painkillers, morphine, on and off, and I really didn't remember much of the day. I know I was in pain, didn't really remember what the pain was like. I woke up the second day feeling definitely clear-headed. I had been woken up in the middle of the night, and I think that was the last time I had a dose of morphine. Um, I asked for a lighter dose, that way I could just kind of sleep the rest of the night. They woke me up at 3 a.m. and did lab work, and then when I woke up, it was just kind of a flurry of activities. Um, I had to do a couple of things. I had to go down and get an upper GI, and that way, if there were no leaks, then that day I could be released from the hospital. So, what I did was, or they wheeled me down, and I had already tried walking that morning. I felt a little bit more stable on my feet. The pain was still at about a 5 or a 6, but it wasn't as bad as it had been. So when I went down for the barium swallow, um, I got wheeled down there. I had to stand for 15 minutes, which was a little uncomfortable. And then I had to swallow that drink. I'm not sure how much it was, but it was the first time after the surgery I had anything to drink. So I know a lot of people say it tastes pretty bad. For me, it didn't taste horrible. I mean, it tasted like cough syrup. It's not the best taste in the world, but it wasn't the worst thing. The most difficult part was just that you have to swallow it really quickly, and you have to stand still for 15 minutes, and there's just so much pressure, just because you have so much swelling already in your stomach, and you take in air when you swallow things, and it was horrible. So I had that done. I didn't have a leak. Thank God. So I got to go back to the hospital room, and they were able to start ordering me food. They brought me breakfast. I really didn't eat much, of course. I sipped maybe a couple sips of water. I tried some watered down juice. They had like cream of wheat, which I'm not a fan of anyway, but I could maybe have half a spoonful. I saw a lot of the people that I had to see before they would discharge me. I had to see my doctor again. The anesthesiologist came by. The nurse from the bariatric center came and talked to me about some of the things that I'd be expecting in the weeks to come. My dietitian came and explained what my diet would be, excuse me, and what kinds of things I needed to do within the next week. And I also saw wound care. A physical therapist came by. So I really liked the way they coordinated everything, because I mean, it was a lot of information, but I was in a place where I could, take the information a lot better than the day before. Um, I did try some of that protein drink that they give you. There's a can of, it's called Beneprotein, and I have to mix it in skim milk, fat-free milk, or light soy milk, and they suggest that you mix it with Carnation Instant Breakfast. So I tried that. I really couldn't get much down, and by about 3 o'clock that afternoon, I was discharged from the hospital. So I went home. I was, at that time, they switched me to Tylenol with codeine. So that helped a little. It really did. I don't, I kept thinking the day before. I mean, it was just this recurring horrible thought about, how am I ever going to go home and function? I can't do this. I can't, I feel so just incapable of sitting up, standing up, getting out of bed, going to the bathroom. And it just was overwhelming at that point. But the next day, it was, I'm not going to say like nothing, but it was a lot better. I still had a little bit of pain and discomfort from some of the pressure of the gas. I still walked, but I was able to walk. I really did not eat or drink, or it's not really eating, it's sipping, but I really wasn't able to take much down that day. Maybe an ounce of water, maybe 2 ounces of that protein drink, and that was it. So that was it for day 2. It was, I guess I was still a little fuzzy because the codeine in the Tylenol is still pretty strong. So I went home and I did sleep. And of course I walked and things like that. But I was still able to sleep, and it wasn't as bad. I mean, the difference between day one and day two was just night and day. So that's a really good thing. I mean, I guess if you're going into this, the one thing that you can take away with it is that what you feel on day one is nothing compared to the next day or two that you're in the hospital. So don't despair. It does get easier. Um, that is pretty much all that I wanted to talk on this video. I'm right now at about a little over a week since surgery, so I do want to start doing videos that are like once a week to go over some of the things that are happening, because the things that I experienced during week one already are starting to change. So I'm starting to see some changes for the good, and I'd like to share that with you all, because this is such a weird journey that you go on to, and you really, there's no way to fully prepare yourself and arm yourself with all the information in the world. There's just always this one thing that pops up that you're like, wow, really? I didn't know that was going to happen. And for me, that moment came when my doctor came and spoke to me the second day in a hospital. I did really good in taking notes and going over all the information that they gave me, and nowhere in any of the pre-op education, classes, visits, any of that did the doctor ever mention a possibility of my gallbladder having to be removed or anything like that. And that was one of the first things that he told me. He put me on a medicine called Actigol, and he wants me on it for 6 months. And he said the reason why is because there's a chance now that my gallbladder, with I guess the change in activity in my stomach, could malfunction. So that's a chance that I might have to go back for having my gallbladder removed. And for me, that was like, wow, seriously, I'm barely hearing this now. It wouldn't have deterred me before, but it's just one of those things that I guess I would have liked to hear before rather than later. But it's a process. It's a daily process. So enjoy the rest of your day, and I hope to see you all again soon.